MoJo King, I hear you came for me on your last podcast, and I got love for you, brother. Nothing but love. You're one of the most prolific team members at the 19 family. You see what's behind me? That golf course, that's your home. That's your passion. You feel comfortable there. But when you come for the king, you ain't gonna be comfortable, brother. This is an open invitation. You have a guest spot on Gimmick Infringement. Anytime. You name the date. Now beware, brother. You're used to those dope episodes where they're like 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. Gimmick Infringement, we don't do that. You gotta go 60 minimum, maybe 90. Brad and I, we don't play. So enjoy your golf. It's a beautiful day here in Arizona. But when you're ready, come find us. Open invitation. MoJo King, if that is your real name. See you soon.
And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, I did not have a brain hiccup in the middle of my intro this week. How are you doing this week?
You did not. It was seamless, my friend. Man, life is good. I'm doing well. I'm so excited for this episode. It is jam-packed, and as always, man, it's great to see you. How are you?
Likewise, I'm doing great. I think. I don't know. This week felt like 3 or 4 weeks long, and at the same time, I feel like we just did the pod. So I don't know how to describe it. I also feel like we haven't actually done the pod as a normal pod in a while. So I'm excited for this. It's been a couple of weeks, so I'm ready to roll. I'm set.
Me too. Shout out to Dr. Tanisha Singleton, by the way, our fellow 19 Media member. She was on last week, and that was such a great conversation, man. I can't wait.
That was a blast.
I can't wait to have Tanisha on again at some point. I can't wait for the future guests we're going to have. And, man, big things for the GI family.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what 2022 has for us in the future. I don't know. I'm not going to name any names, but hopefully we have some good guests coming up here. In the meantime, we get to talk about some really fun stuff and about some fellow 19 Media members, but we'll get to that later.
Yes, we will. I look forward to that conversation.
Can't wait.
Should be good. So, usual format for us here on Gimmick Infringement. Before we get into our 3 questions each for each other, as a reminder, you can find your guys on social media, specifically on Twitter. Brad is at Winduster. I am at my government name, at Tyler J. McDowell. You can also follow Gimmick Infringement at GIPod19. We also have a website. Shouts to Brad, the virtuoso himself. I know that's Deanna Perrazzo's gimmick, Brad, but you are... I think as much of a virtuoso as her. Our website is gimmickinfringementpod.com. If you haven't, be sure to read Brad's first piece on there, Life After Attitude. He reflects on his journey back into wrestling fandom. So give it a look, and we appreciate you listening to this episode. Brad, are you ready for my first question?
All set. Let's go.
Awesome. So this past week on Dynamite, our main event saw MJF defeat CM Punk. You and I were equally stoked for it. Maybe not a surprise ending, but it was, for me, man, it was pretty jarring to see MJF actually get his hand raised and Punk put him over. My question for you, where does this match rank amongst your favorite Dynamite matches ever? And I want to give you some options here. Even in recent memory, we had Cody versus Sammy. Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara to unify the TNT titles. That ladder match was insane. I know we didn't talk about it last week, man, but
right.
I still think of that cutter.
My God.
The crossroads that Cody hit. I mean, that match, I'm going to turn it over to you. But I think of that match. I think of Hangman versus Danielson. I think of Danielson versus Omega, Grand Slam in New York. We can even go back to Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, the Lights Out match that was on Dynamite. So your initial thoughts on Dynamite's main event, Brad, and then where does this match rank for you amongst your favorite Dynamite main events ever?
I don't know that it ranks in my favorites at all. Gonna be real with you. The build for this match really petered out. I don't know what they did, but they just sort of like build and build and build. I'll see you next week in Chicago. I forgot about it until like right before Wednesday. Like it didn't feel like it mattered as much as it should have. I kind of wish they would have waited until a pay-per-view, which makes me feel like we're probably going to get this match again. And not the worst thing in the world to have it happen again, but I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved this match. I just like, are you going to put that above the Lights Out match? Are you going to put that above even the women's tag match, the hardcore match that we saw a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
Mox and Archer had a really good match. They had their Texas Death match, the first one I can think of on Dynamite.
And I think Archer went over, right?
He did. He won the IWGP belt from Mox to drop it like a week later in New Japan.
Right. And I'm even thinking back to Sammy and Cody. That wasn't even the main event, right? I think that was the opener.
Yes. It was the first match on the card.
Man, there's been some good ones.
There was I want to say it was Omega and Rey Fenix was one of my favorite matches in AEW, and that was for the belt when Omega was champ. I think Penta was out with an injury at that point, and then man, there's so many good matches. I don't know that this one ranks up there because the build for it was great. It felt a little bit too close to the Labors of Jericho for me. But the match itself was a throwback, right? Like up until the Poison Rana, that was an old school wrestling match. It ruled. Like it was so good. But it just, I don't know. The ending kind of killed it for me. And I knew it was coming. It's MJF. You know you're going to get some kind of cheap finish. But man, it felt a little too predictable. But to your point, Punk put over MJF, Punk's first loss. But Punk didn't put over MJF. Punk put over MJF twice. He lost twice in that match. The first time with a legal chokeout, and the second time the Dynamite diamond ring that wasn't caught by the ref. I think they'll run this back. It might even be a match with Wardlow. I don't know. They gave us a swerve though. I'll ask you a follow-up question here before I say my last piece here. Did you expect Wardlow to turn right then and there?
No.
When Wardlow came out. Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I figured if we didn't get the turn, I guess at some point in this episode we should probably talk about some of our recent predictions. I guess a few have gone well and proved accurate. Yeah. Most have not. Royal Correct. Rumble and AEW alike.
Hey, don't take Royal Rumble away from me.
Okay.
I had a good run.
Speaking for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I did not. Truthfully, I did not expect a Wardlow turn here. I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened in his home city of Cleveland. So, I'm not even sure I want to make a prediction on when Wardlow turns. Maybe Wardlow is still by MJF's side up until or through he gets the title belt. Maybe MJF finally becomes heavyweight champion, and then MJF's first feud is Wardlow. I'm not hesitant. I'm skeptical that we're gonna. I think it's gonna be a long time before we get a Wardlow turn, man. I think at the soonest, maybe after Revolution, but yeah. I am not shocked at all that he played into the finish here, played into MJF's hand.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna run it until then, and that'll be MJF's next feud. Might even be after MJF wins the belt.
I think so,
but I'm not sure that MJF is the next in line.
Really?
No, more and more it's starting to feel like that's not what's going to happen. I think it'll be. I think the Adam Cole push is happening first. Adam Cole might be the person that takes it off Hangman. It keeps it in the Elite.
Wow.
Or
that's a hot take, man.
Is it?
Brad, I think that's
who's the number one contender right now.
Adam Cole is 2, correct?
Yes, because the number 1 is Archer. That's why we're getting this match.
Yeah.
So, and the only reason Archer is because the records reset at the beginning of the year, which is dumb.
Yeah.
But Archer was eating people
losing
on Dark, and
yeah,
Archer's going to lose 100%. Nobody believes that Archer's going to win. It's fine. I like what they're doing with him. I hated what they were doing with him at first. That like stupid laugh they have him doing out there in the ring. And I don't know if that was his choice or what, but hopefully somebody shut that down, because the next match we saw was great. He just killed a dude. I don't remember who it was. But that first match, he was toying with somebody who was just going, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Ha, ha,
Was it
ha, ha.
Kazarian?
Oh God. It might've been,
Okay.
but the laugh. Oh
yeah. One having
just
Dan
bad.
Lambert by his side. Dan Lambert's probably maybe will come up later in the pod. But
not in a good way.
Yeah, but it's perplexing. I think it'll be a great TV match, though. I'm excited.
I think it'll be great. I think they're going to play to his strengths. Archer is a monster. Hangman's going to win. But I'm excited for it. It's sort of like what we got at the Rumble, Doudrop and Becky. It's Doudrop, okay, Piper Niven. We love Piper Niven, but nobody even remotely thinks it's possible that, even though in a real fight she would kill Becky, nobody thought that she was going to take the belt off Becky. Nobody thinks that Archer is going to win unless something funky happens, like maybe somebody debuts this week. I don't know. I know we're getting a Forbidden Door walkthrough. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this MJF Punk match?
Yeah. You a lot of what you said resonates with me. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I would have it higher on my sort of pantheon of Dynamite matches or Dynamite main events than maybe you do. But I don't know. The ending felt kind of flat to me. I guess I'm working myself into a shoot here, but I really want Wardlow to turn already, which I know is how they want me to feel. So to have him come out there and then, we're wondering, did he mean to cost Punk? Did he, what is going on with him? It just, when he came out and then ultimately that led to Punk losing, and just really the distraction of Wardlow leading to MJF hitting Punk with the Dynamite Diamond ring, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I know that's kind of how he beat Darby at the last pay-per-view. I think that was Full Gear.
It's always beaten like 3/4 of his opponents.
Yeah, so we're building heat for MJF, and we all secretly know he rules, but the ending did feel flat to me. I do, however, really dig that Punk now has, to me, a signature match in the company.
Agreed.
The Darby match, his debut at All Out was fun, but since then he's had good matches, but not one where I would say, like, man, that's the Punk AEW match to this point. I think this past one with MJF now holds that place for me. Because he had matches against Seidel and Hobbs and, just good matches.
And Wardlow, where he lost, but didn't lose.
Yes. But this
the Bret Hart finish. Bret Hart Diesel.
Yes. Yeah. And I think for Punk, I don't know what this sort of did for his confidence, but as a viewer, I think there's got to be a lot of people who maybe have not seen a lot of Punk's work out there. And this really reestablished, like, man, this dude can still go. I think, Brad, that match started with about 40 minutes left in Dynamite. So I was just so intrigued by, man, are these guys really going to run the gauntlet, so to speak, and take up the rest of this episode? And granted, there were a lot of commercials, but they took the next 40 minutes of Dynamite, and I thought the storytelling was fantastic, Punk selling, and ultimately, again,
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, MJF being put over just really felt like the right call, and the roster is so loaded, man. I just don't think there's anyone who has a higher ceiling than MJF. He is still so young. The mix of what he can do on the mic mixed with what he can do in the ring, I think is just phenomenal. So I disagree with you. I think he's our next champion.
We'll see. I mean, he should be. I'm not sure if they'll go that way, because here's why I was thinking this. I love this new Adam Cole that's just full of piss and vinegar. I love it. I also feel like Adam Cole coming out, he's heel right now.
He is.
And like nobody believes it. Everybody loves him anyway. But he's heel. He's working heel. if he comes out and gets cheaped out and beat up and all this stuff by MJF, it's the perfect way to turn Adam Cole babyface. And that's why I think like Adam Cole taking the belt off, even as a transitional champion into an MJF run, would be amazing. I also think that I also think that there's so many people right now that it could be. There's just so many people. It could be Mox, it could be Danielson, it could be Kenny's return, it could be anybody. And they've done such a masterful job of building characters the way that I know I always bring up Attitude Era. The Attitude Era was like the booking wasn't great for, I'd say 75% of it was ass, but there's, and then there's all the racism and the sexism and all the stuff that's layered on top of it. But the part that I loved about it was everybody was over. Everybody was popular. Everybody got a pop when they came out. Everybody. Except for like maybe 2 or 3 groups, tag teams, whatever. Like nobody really cared about the headbangers after a year. Like you see them come out and you're like, this. I'm not sure if the full Ministry of Darkness was getting a lot of applause, but later Viscera was getting good things. I don't know if people cared about Midian, but it was better than that stupid hillbilly gimmick.
Midian.
So
haven't heard that name in like 2 decades. Great callback, Brad.
That's what
Midian.
I'm saying.
Nice.
But Powerhouse Hobbs, people love him. Ricky Starks, people love him. Jay Lethal, people love him. Jay Lethal's a little bit different because he came in already known. But man, we got to talk about that match. Good God, that finish.
Yeah, great road.
But I think that's to your point about Punk. I think now I'm talking about it. I think I have to, maybe I'll move it up a little bit. I don't know if it was just because I knew going into it, MJF was going to win. I knew it. There's no way that wasn't going to happen. Punk came in to work with the young guys and stuff. He's not going to go there to put himself over. He's just not. If the build isn't right for a title for him, he doesn't need a title. He's done everything. He's except main event WrestleMania, according to MJF, which is a big deal. That really pissed off Punk. Nobody cares about that though. Like I don't care about that. Punk rules regardless. And I think Punk selling is maybe the best selling of any wrestler on the planet. Because he follows it through the whole way. There's a whole thing in choir in theater. It's good singing is good acting, and good acting is good singing. So if you're not up there acting your ass off, you're not actually invested in what you're singing. If you're not out there acting your ass off, you're not invested in that injury that was just inflicted upon you by having your leg wrapped around a ring post and smashed into it to say, oh, your knee's being worked, it's wrecked. He was selling 2 or 3 injuries at a time out there, and he was selling all of them. Yeah. And it made sense. And when he was able to like do the running knee into the corner off of his bad knee, he made sure to like do this thing and kick it out and all of that stuff to get ready for it. I appreciated that so much because a lot of times that gets lost and people just sort of go for it because your knee feels fine because you were pretending to be hurt. We get it. It's a work, but to watch that was it was a masterclass. I love that so much. I loved his sell at the end after the punch, laying on the mat, just face down and dead. I loved it. I thought all of it was great. I just don't like that finish. I just don't. Even though it makes total sense. I think it's just I've seen it too many times. Wouldn't the ref be looking for that at this point?
That's fair.
After 97 times of MJF doing that?
Right. Well, I think the ref was Rick Knox. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you talk about refs.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Refs discretion. He historically in AEW has let a lot slide, particularly with tag matches. But he's very unique in the way he does his job.
Was it Rick or was it Bryce? Can't remember.
Oh yes, good call.
Because it was out in the
scratch
out in
what
the
I
crowd.
said. You're absolutely right. Bryce Ramsey.
I remember the bald head.
Yes, thank you. Much more reliable than our good friend Rick Knox. It was Bryce Ramsberg. Yeah, because they were out in the crowd. That was a great spot, by the way, when they went in the crowd.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, and I remember him pointing.
Man,
Good call.
I have to go back and watch this match. I think I've convinced myself it's not as good as it is, and I think it rules.
It ruled. It absolutely ruled. I so agree with you, Brad, with the selling of Punk, and I think a criticism, an observation / criticism that we've heard from friends regarding AEW has been perhaps that there's too many spots and there's not enough selling. And I think often that's what WWE is known for doing well is telling those stories in the ring rather than just being, again, spot. And even though you and I enjoy the spots, that's, to me, Punk's brilliant selling just reminded us how great of a performer he is. And
yeah,
you brought up a magnificent point about at the end when Punk was finally knocked out by the diamond ring, the nefarious use of the diamond ring. I really loved how MJF covered Punk and just laid there. So you can only imagine the words that were expressed after the match, the gratitude I'm sure that was shown from MJF and probably from Punk as well. It was, to me, it was noticeable that they seemed to have a moment there.
Yes, agreed with you. It reminded me of the way that MJF got up was like you could see there's a little pat. And it reminded me of Rock and Stone Cold in Stone Cold's last match when Rock told him he loved him and appreciated him and whatever else he said that is between them. I love that moment because he kind of like did that and got up, and then Rock did his thing in the corner
to the post,
and then Stone Cold got his moment afterward with the crowd and the slow walk back for the last time as a wrestler. And I really appreciated that. So yeah, I noticed that as well. I thought that was awesome. I love this business. It's so much fun.
It's the best.
Knowing that they are performing and that they can hate each other's guts in the ring, but that they probably have a mutual love and respect. MJF is CM Punk. He just is.
Right.
And I love this so much. Yeah. Dude, we got to see the Pepsi twist.
Yes. The twist, the plunge, man, it was, like you said, the poison Rana from Punk, which I've never seen him do. And yes. I'm not as well studied as others are in the history of Punk matches. Yeah, man, it was. I just even think of the cardio required to put on that match, and it.
Yes,
I will say this: I think I've convinced you to put this match higher on your all-time Dynamite list, so I feel accomplished.
Perfect. Well, we are 20 minutes in and on just your question one, so we are. I'm glad the lead-in was short. My first question for you
Let's do it.
Is sort of a two-parter, but not really. You'll see when I say it. So we get an appearance this week. This week we get a debut. Number one, or part A. Who is it? Part B, is the forbidden door only to be applied if a person shows up while employed somewhere else?
I'm going to go out of order and answer the latter. No, I think the forbidden door, it can only be a forbidden door if someone is under contract somewhere else. If it's just a free agent, you and I were texting about this earlier, Brad. If it's a free agent, I don't consider that a forbidden door. Let's say even if it's Jeff Hardy. Pretty sure Jeff Hardy was released from his contract, or they mutually parted ways. So that's a no for me. My prediction:
he's not free till March. Just throwing that out there.
He's not free till March. Good to know. That kind of changes my prediction. I was thinking either Jeff or Keith Lee, but my definition of forbidden door, and I would hope Tony Khan's is as well, is that someone is employed elsewhere. That being said, I'm going to give you a few names. My first pick would be Jonathan Gresham. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, because we've seen him just about everywhere over the past month or two, I don't know that maybe that gets as big of a reaction as they're hoping for. You brought up New Japan to me, Brad, which I think is very astute and I would argue probably likely. So a few names there, maybe Switchblade Jay White. You mentioned Will Ospreay. And my thought is perhaps Will is the choice because this will ultimately lead to a shot at the Face of the Revolution ladder match at the Revolution pay-per-view. I was going to call it premium live event, but I think AEW is still rolling with pay-per-view.
Yes.
Because whoever's showing up,
Because you're
Brad,
paying.
Whoever's showing up is going to beat the wonderful Isaiah Cassidy. They're going to be in this Face of the Revolution ladder match. And I'm just thinking whose talents sort of lend themselves to a ladder match. I want to say Keith. I want to say Jeff. But, man, this is really difficult. I want to throw out Mustafa Ali. I'll go with Will Ospreay. I say that with very little confidence, though. How about you?
So Will Ospreay retweeted, I should say, the Mox promo, who said, like, I'm coming and I'm going to fight New Japan, and didn't have an opponent. Will Ospreay said, I'm right here. So I feel like if that match happens, maybe that's the way in. Jay White seems like a likely choice, but the slamming the door shut, and then if they do or do not, even if they were released, that language for me has the two names that you mentioned from New Japan, especially Jay White. But he's been doing so much stuff with Impact. I could see him going to Impact before anywhere else.
That doesn't have a big splash. I think this has to be a splash, right?
This has to be a splash.
Yeah.
No, like people that are fans of pro wrestling, like fans like you and I, will know who Will Ospreay is and know who, even Jonathan Gresham. I don't think people outside of hardcore fans know who Jonathan Gresham is.
Not at all.
I don't think people outside of hardcore fans and are on the internet know who Danhausen is. Yeah. They will, because Danhausen freaking rules.
And if you continue going down the New Japan roster, I don't know if
we're not getting Okada. We're not getting Tanahashi.
You read my mind.
Kenta's on the shelf. Yeah.
You read my mind. Well said. Continue.
Yeah. I would love that. Can you imagine if Okada showed up? Good Lord.
Yeah. I don't
just go ahead and cancel Peacock right now. Just you never need it again.
I don't know if we can roll it out. What do you think? Who do you think?
No way. Absolutely no way. It's Keith Lee. So the only other person it could possibly be that we're leaving off this list is Karrion Kross. Killer Kross. Because he is available. His time is up. Keith Lee's is as well. He got married this weekend. Yes. What a way to kick off the honeymoon.
Great content.
With a debut. I could see that. If this were a women's match, I would have said Athena. But I don't know that there's a lot of people out there that would make that kind of a splash outside of Wyndham Rotunda. Now, if Wyndham Rotunda shows up, I mean, good Lord. I mean, it's a game changer. Punk is there already, right? We have Mox, we have Punk, we have all these big Bryan Danielson. We have these big names that people know because the WWE built them and then pooped them out. I can't even imagine what will happen. I don't think people, maybe Tony hasn't, but I don't think people have given Wyndham Rotunda his flowers nearly enough for what he could bring to the table creatively, as a performer, as an idea person, as a person who just has an incredible presence, as a veteran, as a former champion. This guy is easy money. He will sell merch. I don't care what he does. It will be excellent. I'm sure TK will work around his schedule. You see how much that Danielson is working. He's healthy. He doesn't work every week. He shows up for a 5-second thing. We see promos from other places. I think Sammy did like his card gimmick when he was in Brazil.
Yes,
and they showed it during a commercial break. And it's just like, you can do stuff sort of wherever. So that would free him up to be creative and do his filmmaking. He might be done with wrestling though. I don't know. I don't know what his age is. I think he's only in his 30s. So, I can see him coming in and doing that. I think the most likely one would be Keith Lee, given TK's love of independent wrestling and him following people off the independents and knowing what Keith Lee can do, knowing that a guy that's like 300 pounds can do a freaking moonsault like it's nothing.
Limitless. He's the man.
I'll say to you on the pod what I sent to you in a text. Isaiah Cassidy is the perfect person to have for a Keith Lee debut.
He really is.
Because Keith can just yeet him around the ring, take the shoulder and put it into his chest and knock him over the ropes. He can do so much stuff to Isaiah, and Isaiah will sell. Isaiah will look great too. I will always pop for the Isaiah Scream. It's one of my favorite things in wrestling. Man, I hope it's Keith Lee. I hope it's Wyndham Rotunda. If we get the other guys, I'm not going to be disappointed because I'll be excited for that, but I don't think it is.
Wow. So you're thinking ex WWE talent.
It has to be. The language that Tony used, the slam the door in the face, it has to be ex-WWE.
Yeah, you're very persuasive. I think you're right, bro.
Like, who else could it be? Who's in Impact that's contracts up?
Yeah,
is anybody in Impact that would make a splash? Like, Ken Shamrock's not showing up.
I'm gonna say a name though that I think is another great talent. That what if we get a Josh Alexander? Does he move the needle as much as some of these other people? I mean, his name was mentioned on Dynamite
by Brandy
this past week
in one of two Dan Lambert promos.
Too many.
Unbelievable.
One may argue.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to believe this is true, Brad. I've predicted a Wyndham Rotunda Bray Wyatt appearance on AEW more than once in the past. I hope you're right. If it's Bray or Keith, two of my favorite talents in professional wrestling, I'm in love with it. I'm just worried that I'm setting the bar too high. But I hope you're right.
People were disappointed with Christian. So people are going to be disappointed. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. People will be disappointed. F them. Like, I trust in Tony's plan and vision for the company, and I really like what he quoted for people that are going to go, oh, it's too bloated, there's too many, the roster is too big, and I'm just worried it's over whatever. Like, it's fine. If he sees somebody, he said this, I don't remember who he was talking to or where the quote came from, so I can't credit it. Probably Fightful, but don't quote me on that. But he said, like, anytime he has a chance to sign talent that will bring eyes to the product, he's going to. He just is, even if that means sacrificing people. Like, I don't know. Kip Sabian has been in the crowd for months.
I noticed that.
And I don't know if he's cleared. Yeah. I don't know if he's cleared. I don't really know what's going on with that, or if he's there as, like, they're just letting him be, because he's not getting screen time. He's just letting him be there because Penelope Ford is wrestling. I don't know if he's even under contract. We saw what happened with Brian Cage. Like, I think he's just gone. And there's a couple other people whose contracts just sort of expired. And that's fine. If that means you're going to get more popular talent that are main event ready, that whatever that means, I don't know what that means. Main event ready. People are still saying Jade's not ready. Not me.
Yeah. I'm gonna swipe left on that. Totally disagree.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I hope it's Keith.
Man, that'd be awesome.
I really hope it's Keith or Bray or whatever he goes by, Wyndham or Zip Zorp. I don't really care what he goes by. I just want to see him. I just want to see him in an AEW ring getting to shine. But I know one of the things that we will get no matter what happens from either of those talents are great promos. And I think that's a great transition into our promo of the week. But Tyler, this promo of the week is not promo. Play the music.
And now, the promo of the week.
I shouldn't laugh. This is serious business. Brad, tremendous lead in. Thank you, my partner. Man, it's me again. I will let our listeners know that I requested this time. It's a bit of an ego trip. I think this is my third promo of the week in the history of Gimmick Infringement. But this was not my original plan. I must let you know, listeners, in case you did not hear the most recent episode of Hidden Gems Golf. It's a wonderful podcast in the 19 Media Group, hosted by the tremendously talented Mo. You may know him as MoJo King on social media. So, Brad, I'm listening to the podcast, the most recent Hidden Gems. It's a reflection on Pebble Beach. Mo always delivers great episodes. They're about 15 to 20 minutes, so really sort of digestible, if you will. And about halfway through, Mo mentions you and I. Here's my issue, Brad. Mo puts you and the wonderful Freya, your daughter, over. But then he brings up my name. Mo says he's turning heel, and by turning heel, one day he's going to hit me with a chair. Twice, and then give me an elbow drop. He was totally fantasy booking this, right? Like, you and him would become tag partners, and I guess I'm the odd person out. Total like Shield vibes. I guess he would be Seth, but then like you would be Dean, aka John Ma. I don't know. It was very confusing to me. But anyway, my name came out of Mojo's mouth. So here we are. I'm gonna take a different spin on this, Brad. You may recall, near the infancy of Gimmick Infringement, I cut a promo on all of the Lakers sycophants in the 19 Media Group, and that was legit. I was steaming, man, and I think time has proven me right. The team isn't any good. but the difference is I found out that these Lakers fans on 19 Media are actually pretty solid people and quite talented as well. So there's a lot of love there. Mm-hmm. There's not as much love for Mo this week. Mo, you called me out, brother. That was a mistake. Here's how we're going to approach this, Mo. I think you're talented. I have so much respect for you. We are going to invite you on to Gimmick Infringement. But there's a caveat. I know you're a wrestling fan. I don't know if you're watching the current product, but we want to bring you on because we have that much love and respect for you. Here's the caveat. Here is my worry, though, Mo. As I alluded to, you are the host of Hidden Gems Golf and Hidden Gems Hip Hop. You're a versatile cat. You are not only a leader in 19 Media, but just one of the most prolific talents in the group. My worry, though, is you're not ready for Gimmick Infringement. If you've listened to the pod, which I know you do, one of our biggest supporters, again, we got a lot of love for you, just not today. If you listen to the product, you know Brad and I go 60 minutes minimum. This pod is already at 35, and we're not even on question 2. Mo, I don't know if you have the stamina. I don't know if you have the fortitude to stay on here for 60 to 90 minutes. Brad and I don't do seasons with this podcast. We don't take weeks off. You know where to find us. You know where you can listen to us every single week. Record on Sunday, released by Monday. In your queue. Consistency Jones. We don't take days off. Are you really ready for that? If we're going to extend the olive branch, can you say that you're ready to receive it? We don't talk about Pebble Beaches on here. We're in the Saguaro Desert. You best be hydrated, my man. And you best come with the content. I hope you accept the offer. You name the episode, whenever. Brad and I would love to have you on. I hope you're ready, Mo. If that is your real name. MoJo King. Mo, I don't know what your real name is, but I'm going to assume it's your real name. Don't play the music yet. The pod needs to continue. The promo needs to continue. MoJo King, if that is your real name. I feel like if you lived in Arizona, man, this like Gimmick Infringement would maybe need to be a trio podcast. You seem like that solid of a dude. But Brad, he had the temerity. He had the unmitigated gall to turn heel on me. Mo, you name the episode, we are going to have you on. That's all I got to say.
Wow. Calling him. Mo's got some yams coming after you. Whoa.
Yes. We knew this was going to happen, Brad. He's the man, but I think he's getting too big of an ego over there in New York.
You were incredibly nice in that intro. You put him over hard before coming after him. I don't know if I could have done the same. I think I would have been coming for him more than Veer. Not coming on Raw.
I thought Veer was going to get mentioned. Yes.
I just like, there's so many jokes. Yeah. There's so many jokes. Veer is coming. Stop saying that, please. First of all, phrasing. Second, show up already. Also, nobody wants to see that. He's going to get a huge pop when he shows up, dude. And that'll be it. After that, it'll just be like, who cares about this?
Why? I'm going to get into my question number 2, but why would that not be at the Royal Rumble? Speaking of predictions, one of mine that turned out to be a horribly inaccurate one. No Veer at the Rumble. This seemed like it was being set up for him to... I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's go into question 2, Brad. Are you ready?
Ready.
So... I want to take a moment to spotlight the women's division in AEW. This past week on Rampage, we saw the highly anticipated Thunder Rosa versus Mercedes Martinez match. Thunder Rosa wins via disqualification. First, let me say, Brad, great lead pipe shot.
Yes.
That popped
awesome.
me.
Yeah, me too.
That was awesome. Great heel work from Mercedes.
Yeah.
And then not too long after that on Rampage, Brad, we saw... it was revealed that Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, let me put some respect on her name, is contracting Mercedes to take out Thunder Rosa.
Yep.
I forget if we've really launched into this conversation on the pod. I'm gonna hope that we haven't. My question number 2 for you is, thinking about Britt Baker's title reign thus far. She won it at Double or Nothing, beat Hikaru Shida. That was back in May. It's February, and she's still champion. We're huge fans. Her title reign, do you think it's been overrated, underrated, or just about right?
Totally overrated. Totally overrated. Vanilla pudding. Like, it's just meh. Like, I've been saying it all along. Her title reign, like, when does she defend? She just never defends. She just never defends. She defended against Riho. Anybody think that was going to be a loss? What was before that? Ruby?
Yeah. Grand Slam.
Right after her debut?
Right.
I can't... Shida, Ruby, Riho. What are the other title defenses? I think she said on the... Didn't she say in her promo this week that she defended the title 7 times?
I can't think of the 7, though. All of the ones you mentioned are legit. Those are accurate. Who...
I'm looking it up right now because I
couldn't...
legitimately don't know.
Man, I think, again, that just speaks to your answer, though, of it hasn't been, I think, exactly what we wanted up till this point. Who are those memorable rivalries? She's fantastic, but...
She's great.
Has there been a memorable rivalry to this point? I mean, it's been since May, man. It's a long time, right? That's about a 7 or 8 month reign, and we can't think of much.
I can't find anything here, but that's the point. I don't know that she's had anybody that can equal her on the mic, and except Thunder Rosa, and Serena Deeb probably could get there. Did she defend? Yeah, she defended against Nyla right after she won, right? Because she flipped over the cheeseburgers.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes.
Yeah. What a dumb thing. What a dumb sentence that was.
Not the best.
I don't think she wrestled at all in Pittsburgh when it was Britsburg. I think she came out and did her promo and waved the towel.
Yeah. Great moment, but yeah.
Awesome. But
Red Velvet, right? She fought Red Velvet.
Was it for the title though? Or was it just a
I think
fight?
so. I think that was on a Rampage. I think that was the Britsburg show. She main evented that Rampage. I think the towel was on Dynamite, and then that Friday she fought Red Velvet.
That makes sense. And that was when Red Velvet wasn't she heel at that point? She never really... Red Velvet was working heel for a while. We never saw her turn, and she just sort of wasn't.
I think at that time she was a face. Yeah.
Working with Statlander, all of a sudden, it's like, all right, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. She was heel in Pittsburgh, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I love Red Velvet. I think Red Velvet... Watching Red Velvet and Jade get better and better and better every single time, and Anna Jay get better and better and better. So much fun to watch their progression.
Absolutely.
Really
Layla
excited
Hirsch.
about the future. Layla Hirsch, that kick to the chair. Good God. How is Statlander alive? That was so great. That was so great. That was such a great spot. Yeah, man, I don't know, vanilla for me. I haven't loved it, but I also haven't hated it. So maybe it's properly rated, but I feel like it's overrated because we talk about Britt Baker as, I think Britt Baker is so incredibly over that we forget that her reign hasn't been the best because she's so awesome.
Right.
She just
You've
has
got her figure in the background.
That.
I can see Britt's next to Sting up there.
Britt's right here. The Stinger's right there.
If you're listening to the pod, make sure you follow us on YouTube, by the way. The 19 Media channel. We got video now.
Yes.
In case you didn't know.
And you can go there and see if you can figure out what that sound just was. That sounded like some kind of metallic ping pong ball hitting the
Absolutely me. Yeah. That was my wire and my
it's like bing. It's like a T-Rex trying to take out a cable. Gets us some Jeeps.
I'll take credit for that one.
What do you think about Britt's reign so far?
Yeah, it's like you said, we're such fans of her that saying it's been overrated, makes me wince a little bit, but I don't think it's been as grand as we would have liked. It's, to me, I was debating whether asking you that question or this question. To me, it just makes me think of what is the importance of having credible challengers in a champion's title reign. I think that's a critique you and I have of what we see often in WWE, whether that's Roman Reigns or Shinsuke Nakamura as the IC champion. It's okay, we love these wrestlers and we know their talent level, but their reign feels underwhelming when perhaps we don't have challengers that feel like they have a legit shot to beat the champion. And that's I would agree with you. I think it's been overrated in that regard, that every time Britt steps in the ring, I've known she's going to win. But is that a requirement to have a great title reign? What do you think?
Not necessarily, but it I take that back. Yes, I think it's a requirement. I don't think you can have that title reign and not have credible challengers. You can have a really good match, but if you know the outcome before it starts, then you're Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, then you're Roman versus basically anybody they have right now. That's the problem they have. They had to dust off Goldberg just to have somebody that they know, just reanimating that gray goatee corpse. Just, I don't want to see that anymore. Come on, man. Like, I'm glad I'm not watching the product. I will definitely not watch this pay-per-view coming up. Premium live event, whatever, bunch of dog shit. I'm not going to watch that. Because I don't care. They haven't done anything to build anybody. Shinsuke's, he hasn't defended the title since September? Correct. If he's injured, have him drop the belt, say he was injured, and then when he's not there, put him back in the title picture again. It's not that hard. Instead of keeping the belt on him because you have literally nobody else. Good God. And you let your top talent go. Bray Wyatt could have been in the IC title picture if you didn't want to have him in the main event picture. If you didn't want him after the WWE or Universal Championships, that's fine. Put him in the IC belt picture. He doesn't need it. The Fiend just kind of kills people. That's all we want.
Fiend doesn't want titles. Just, wants to kill people.
Orange Cassidy,
Ali, though.
Orange Cassidy, dude. Orange Cassidy. It's the same thing. You think Danhausen's going to walk around with the title at any point? Hell no. He's going to come out and try to curse people. Everybody's going to laugh. He's going to say something ridiculous. We're all going to laugh, and we're going to have a good time. Danhausen might wrestle somebody, might choke slam somebody that's way bigger than him. And then dance to tequila or something. Frankly, I don't care because they don't need the belt. Britt Baker, is there any comedic wrestlers on the roster right now? They had Maki Ito, but she's gone.
Yeah,
and I loved watching her do the thing where she gets all stiff and does the sideways headbutt. I laugh at that every single time because it's hilarious, and she's a good worker. But she did a couple of things there and left. We have Red Velvet, we have Nyla Rose, we have Hikaru Shida, who seems to be on vacation or injured. I'm not sure which. Serena Deeb, Ruby Soho. She's either beaten a bunch of those people, they've all been in the TBS title picture, or they just don't have anybody else that is going to be able to line up with the level of charisma or ring work right now, via conditioning, via experience. I don't really know what it is, but you could put Jade in that picture, but Jade currently has the TBS title. So if you threw Jade in there with Britt, I think you could have a fun match. You gotta give it to Jade, and then Jade takes 2 belts until somebody can line up with her, and I feel like that would be a good time to bring in Athena. But I don't know, man. Like nobody matches up with Britt. On the men's side, there's like 7 or 8 guys that I could say are the top guy at any given moment, or in the TNT picture at any given moment. And on the women's side, there's a few, but the ones that I'm thinking of have already been there. So all I have left is Thunder Rosa, and then give Jamie Hayter some more time, get her out of there with Britt and Chris Statlander. But Statlander had a match with Britt. That was the one, I think, right?
Yes.
That was the one that was a good
could
match.
we forget? I think that was the all-out match. That match was one of the best of the night. Yes.
It was one of the best of the night. That was
Britt match.
That was a great match. I could see Statlander doing it, maybe if Jamie turns. I don't know. What do you think happens with, I know this is an aside and we're dragging this out here. What do you think happens with Rebel? Does Rebel get re-signed?
Wow. Man, that's tough. I wonder, have we seen... I think of on the men's side, there's been the Marco Stunts, Leo Rushes.
That's who I was thinking of, yeah.
Peter Avalon, people who were dinosaur. We're seeing people being let go now. I mean, this is probably inevitable as AEW was going to grow. I don't know that we've seen any women talent, not released, but instead not re-signed. Yeah, man, Rebel.
Well, I can think of one.
She's done great, but I could see her being on that list of people who maybe aren't as needed as they were when the company first started. I think she brings so much to the Britt act, but if you're going to bring in an Athena or a Toni Storm or name the talented women that are out there, Trish Adora, right? Shout out to Tanisha. Right. I know Trish is her favorite. Yeah, Rebel, I hate to say expendable, but I'm going to say she gets re-signed because I'm a big fan, but
Me too.
It's going to be interesting to see on the women's side who is maybe not with the company. I hope all of them stay, of course, right? We don't want to wish down anyone, but she's in a unique spot because she is specifically bringing something to the Britt character. I don't know that Rebel exists outside of being in the Britt entourage.
That's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I don't mind her doing some work every once in a while. She's fine. I don't know that I want to see her a lot doing work, but I like her in those tag matches where she gets in there, gets a couple of spots and gets yeeted into a table or whatever. But I really like her character work with Britt. She's so good. Yeah. She just adds that stooge level. It's just so good. I love it so much. I hope they keep
Gotta re-sign her.
You have to, right?
Yeah, you convinced me. Absolutely. All these people are so talented, but you're right. She really does bring that stooge, that perfect stooge element to Britt. And we know Jamie is probably not going to be with Britt for a very long time. So
right. Hope not. Yeah. As far as releases go, the only women, or I guess woman that I know that has been released was Ivelisse. But that was for a variety of reasons.
Right.
And then Swole choosing to leave. And,
good call. Yep. Absolutely.
And after that, I don't know. There's probably a bunch of them. Kiera Hogan had a dark match this week against I can't remember what her name is. It's like a car name. It's like Maserati, I think, is what it is.
Okay.
Something like that. Fun match. Really fun match. Can't wait to see Kiera Hogan get some more in-ring work and then show up at the main roster because she's awesome. I love watching her matches, and she has such a great look. It's can't wait to see more.
And
bright future for what's that?
Sorry, Tasha Steele is her former tag partner in Impact.
That's right.
That's
right.
Is killing it in Impact.
Yes.
I think she's the number one contender. She won the first ever women's X match.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're. I didn't expect both of them in their solo careers to just be blossoming as quickly as they are, but that's wonderful. I think I sent the link to my pops, to my dad, that Tasha Steelz won. And I think his question back to me was, "Oh, that's Tasha Steelz of Fire and Flavor." And I was like, "Yes, Dad. That is Tasha Steelz." So great call on Kiera Hogan. I'm glad she got a win on Dark. That's awesome. You know you're my AEW Dark savant. I always go to you for the latest and greatest on it.
Yeah, it's just because I'm sacrificing all of this other time I could be watching other stuff to watch wrestling. So that wasn't actually my second question. So I'm going to ask my second question.
Right.
That was just a follow-up question. Okay. Danielson wanted to start a stable. He said that in an interview. Is Mox the best person to start it with? And then if so, what happens with Eddie?
I'm so glad you brought this up. I was just thinking, how is this not on my question list for you? And I'm going to need to call an audible and make sure we talk about that segment between Mox and Danielson from this past week. Phenomenal question, as always, my guy. So, man, I didn't even think about the Eddie element. Is Mox the right or the best person to partner with Danielson? Yes, if this does end up involving Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, etc. Because I would say that the perfect person to partner with Danielson are these young cats who he could mentor. But I have to tell you, Brad, I thought I wanted Mox versus Danielson at Revolution. But this idea, this dream of a dojo in which they are the two head, I'm not up on my dojo lingo, the two head trainers, if you will.
Right.
I really want that. I think I need that as much as I need air now. We need this. Forget about them feuding, even though I think that's what's going to end up happening one way or another. I'm going to say yes for the Mox. I really think, Danielson is just so masterful, on the mic, and he just convinced me that I need this. So yes for him. What happens to Kingston? Brad, I think I'm someone who wanted a Kingston and Mox tag team title reign. I wanted them to beat the Young Bucks at, I think this is also Double or Nothing, my show of the year.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to happen and they didn't win, but they have something really special as a tag team. So what would happen to Kingston? I think that if Mox and Danielson were to join together, I think Kingston would end up convincing Mox to break away from this dojo. Maybe he would convince Mox that Danielson has, isn't doing this for Mox's best interest. Maybe this is Danielson being a heel. I don't think we can lose the magic of Kingston and Mox together. So I have no idea. I think we need a Mox and Kingston tag title reign. But they're also number 10 on my depth chart because we need to see a Private Party reign. We need to see Proud and Powerful. We need to see Red Dragon. The options are endless, man. What do you think?
I think that I want to see this happen. I think the way that we could get the match out of it is Mox coming back and saying, "I'll start a stable, but I don't think you're better than me. I'll join with you if you can beat me," and then we get that match.
Wow.
I would love to. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but God, give that to me. I don't care what the reason is. My favorite part of that whole segment had nothing to do with the conversation, the one-sided conversation, or Mox looking at the camera like.
Yeah, he was really playing
over and over again. He was really hamming it up
audience.
Out there. It was so funny.
Yeah.
It was Danielson standing in front of the tunnels trying to choose which one, and we never got to see it because the camera cut away. I don't know if you caught that, but
I did not catch that at all.
He was looking at he stopped and looked left, looked right, and we never got to see him walk into the tunnel because the camera went back to the ring to Mox and then went to commercial. Yeah, so did they. So we don't know if he went into the heel or the face tunnel. My guess is that he didn't go into either of them and he walked off backstage some other route to screw with the crowd. But yeah, that Shades of Grey thing that they like to play with. I hope we get to see that. Eddie, I think Eddie doesn't need a tag team. I think Eddie needs to be on his own. I want to see Eddie do something though.
TNT maybe, right? Wouldn't he be the perfect TNT champion?
I think so, but I also take back what I said. I think he almost needs to be in a tag team. I don't know that I see him. He's had a couple of shots for belts, and he's lost them.
Yeah, he lost to Miro.
But if they make a trios belt, I can see him LAX City, and
right.
So I could see that part. I could see that. I could also see him trios teaming with Mox, but I can't see him Mox and Danielson because of the Eddie Danielson fight was so good, and the build was so good.
You're putting all the layers together, man. Yes,
yeah.
This is you're peeling them back.
So I don't know. I think Mox is the right person to go with Danielson. I think Danielson will get to start his stable. I just want to see an ass kicker stable. Danielson and Mox together with Garcia. Good Lord.
Right.
Lee Moriarty is incredible. He had a great match this week too.
Yes, against Janela, right?
Yes. Yeah. Main event. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is, but I just want to see these guys wrestle.
Me too. I just think we end up getting, again, Kingston and Mox back at some point, because I really think what they had was magic. I remember you telling me, Brad, you texting and tweeting about how in love you were with those promos with those two guys in front of the fireplace in the backyard. I mean, they really had something. Again, it's forged on their real life friendship. Mm-hmm. I think at some point we have to end up back there where those two dudes are on the same side tagging together. But like you said, I definitely don't see Kingston in the dojo.
No.
Yeah,
totally agreed.
It doesn't work. We'll see, man. Trios belts as well. I'm hopeful we get that sometime in this year. But it's so fun to fantasy book in this company because there's just talent and ideas everywhere. Speaking of talent and ideas, Brad Winchester, it is time for my favorite segment of the week. Someday when you have kids. Let's play your music.
Boo. And now it's time for...
I'm crazy.
Someday.
Someday.
When you have kids.
You're crazy.
Tyler, this was a tough one for me, trying to figure out something new, something that has come up this week, and it turns out it's cookies. Cookies, man. Cookies. Cooking anything, really. Someday when you have kids, you're going to do stuff for them. Sometimes it's for you, but sometimes it's for them because you get to do a little bit of both. Yesterday, I decided I wanted peanut butter cookies. Really been craving them. Decided to make a batch. We have a new cookie place in town. It's called Crumble, no E at the end. I think it's a chain. There's other locations, and it's sort of like order the cookies. After I'm done with this, I'm absolutely texting Jess and saying get cookies. The cookies didn't turn out. Just we'll get there in a second. Freya was helping me with the cookies. She always wants to help, but she always wants to help immediately, even if stuff's not ready to help. It's let me stir it, let me mix it, let me do this, let me do that. It's like, no, stop, just wait. The vanilla is not in there yet. The baking powder is not in there, or the baking soda. Just wait for two little seconds. So while I'm doing this, she gets bored and wants to play with the flour. So I made her go wash her hands, play in the big tub of flour we have, and I start baking the cookies. Around the third batch, I'm using this little silicone finger grabby pincer oven mitt that is absolutely freaking useless. And I burned the ever-living shit out of my knuckle trying to get it out. Why? Because it doesn't cover my knuckles. Because this oven mitt is a joke. It's an embarrassment to all oven mitts. It covers just up for people on YouTube. This is as far as it goes. Right to there. It's all exposed in the back. Unbelievably worthless. So my knuckle hit the rack. Little, as soon as it hit it, little burn. And my hand jumps because I'm pulling the cookie sheet out. And what do I do? I flip like two flapjack looking peanut butter cookies. One directly into the oven where it explodes all over the bottom of it. And the other one lands perfectly right in the crease between the oven door and the oven, where it is physically impossible to get any of it out. Now we flavored this up. It wasn't just plain peanut butter cookies. No, chocolate chips. Chocolate chips are in these cookies. Now I got wet chocolate chips just covering the oven floor. One of them landed on the element. There's just smoke coming off of it. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to scrape it out. I'm trying to knock it out with a spatula. I'm trying to do this. Meanwhile, Freya's behind me asking for milk, or can I have a cookie? There's a fire. My hand is burning. There's just cookie debris everywhere. I got to pay attention to the dog, because if the dog jumps off the couch, Jess is absolutely dead on the couch because she was putting away Christmas stuff for like 8 hours, so she wasn't going to move. That dog jumps down. That dog jumps down. I think I texted you. I was this close from throwing myself into the oven by the time I was just trying to get this done. Man, all I wanted to do was do something nice for my kid. I wanted to make some cookies. I wanted her to help, and she did. And what happens? I burn my hand. I destroy the oven. I destroy the floor. I spend half an hour cleaning up cookie debris that's absolutely burnt. It smells like buttholes everywhere. It smells like I branded a cow. It just burned smelling farmland waste just everywhere. It was horrific. And I don't even know if it was the cookies. It could have been my flesh. It could have been, I don't know, the little tattoo I gave myself on the old knucks. And it's just insane. Someday when you have kids, you're going to hurt yourself, Tyler. You're going to hurt yourself because love hurts. If it's not a shot to the balls, if it's not just dropping something heavy on your foot or carrying a 50-pound pumpkin in from a pumpkin patch, it's going to be something else. It's going to be cookies. It's going to be the oven. It's going to be some other bullshit. And someday when you have kids, you'll find out yourself.
Man, the things we do for the people we love, the sweets we love, you just wanted some cookies, some peanut butter cookies. And here we are, the Nuck Tattoo, and on the bright side, a great Someday When You Have Kids segment. I love that. Awesome job, my friend.
Thank you. Could have been stronger, but, I would have eaten a peanut butter cookie ahead of time and felt better about it. But here we are, just burnt oven. Everything still smells in here. It's just, I am 10 miles away from my oven right now, and I can smell the faint whiff of burnt peanut butter and chocolate and failure. It's just sad.
As you know, that was actually a really good one too. I'm just gonna throw myself in the oven part of your text really popped me. I mean, that was just, you do have a way with words, and I think this whole segment really solidifies and exemplifies that. Brad, I think we've reached the point in the pod where we have our final questions for each other. Are you ready?
I'm ready. You know what? I'm not. I say we go 120 today, just to spite Mo.
Just to spite Mo. I'm here for it.
Now let's just do our questions and see what happens.
Yeah, fair enough. Mm-hmm. So question 3, I debated between 2 here, but I'll go with the more timely one. We cannot do this pod without showing love to absolute Ricky Starks. He main evented this past week's Rampage. He defeated Jay Lethal to retain his FTW title. My question for you, Brad. I was listening to a Fightful podcast. Shout out to all the people at Fightful. I forget if this was Grapsody or if this was Alex Pulowski or Sean Rossap or Denise Salcedo. We love the whole crew there. But someone over the weekend mentioned the idea of, instead of Ricky eventually dropping the FTW title to Hook, perhaps we get a Ricky Starks versus Dante Martin match. Dante wins the FTW title, and then Hook eventually beats Dante for the title. I was intrigued by that. I hadn't considered it. It seems like Dante is still involved in this program based on his interference in this past Friday's match. By the way, Dante's leap onto the ropes and then leaps onto Powerhouse Hobbs, Brad. That is so impressive. This dude is smooth. He's bulking up. Dante Martin is just an absolute star. Long story long, my question to you. Which would you rather see? Ricky Starks going right into the Hook program, perhaps in a few months? Or would you like to see Ricky Starks versus Dante Martin? Dante Martin perhaps wins the belt, and then ultimately Hook is coronated as FTW champion by dethroning Dante. Which do you want to see?
Good question. Really good question.
Do we need Dante in this? Or does Ricky just defeat him?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do when Darius comes back. I don't know when Darius is coming back. It's got to be soon.
Yeah, great tag team.
Top Flight.
Yes, they're in that group too, right?
Pushing
Kingston and Mox back even further.
Yeah, they have to be immediately in title contention, but I'm sure they'll milk it to, because of the injury, and that's fine. Or maybe they do something else. I don't know. I think that if Dante is FTW champion when Darius returns, that'll pump the brakes on their tag team stuff. Hook has to get the FTW championship at some point, and maybe that's how Taz ends up breaking ties with Ricky. Maybe I don't think we get any kind of interference if that happens. Man, I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question. I think the second one has to be what it is. Eventually, that way Ricky doesn't lose directly to Hook, keeps the stable together, but Hook still gets the FTW belt. We're all going to pop when that happens, even if he's working heel. It's Hook doesn't work heel. Hook is Hook. And yeah, I think that has to be what it is. And I don't know that we need Dante, but they're still keeping this feud going, so I guess we need Dante. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I mean, we love Ricky. We really love Hook. I think we have to have a program. I do not think we're going to go into Ricky versus Hook at Revolution for the FTW title. There is so long of a build that needs to happen. Yeah, I was really taken aback in the best way possible when this idea was mentioned of Dante maybe losing to Ricky or becoming FTW champion and defeating him. I would really like that, man. I don't know if I'm trying to picture Dante with the FTW belt. I don't know that it quite makes sense in my mind, but at the very least, a Dante versus Ricky program, I think should happen. I think it would rule. And then, like you said, the end goal of all of this is that Hook is coordinated as FTW champion. That is going to make the FTW belt must-see. If it's not already must-see with Ricky Starks, I really believe when Hook gets it, man, that's like, just give me that. As a longtime Taz fan, the fact that his son is so incredible and is just so unique, as you may have heard, I have a Send Hook shirt in the mail coming my way. I will be wearing that proudly. You know what? Let me actually ask you this, Brad, and then I want to transition into yours before this becomes a 2-hour episode of GI. I really like that question, but this makes me think of maybe even better follow-up. QT Marshall mentioned that he is going to send someone for Hook on the upcoming Rampage. But he said it's going to be, I believe, a student of his, so he can't like fully fantasy book this. Mm-hmm. But who do you want to see as Hook's next opponent? I was thinking it was going to be the Caveman, Nick Camarado, but it seems like it's going to be maybe an up-and-comer, not this established Caveman dude. What do you think about this? Any guesses who it might be?
No. I mean, QT is going to go in there and do his QT thing and probably put over Hook, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's QT. I don't know. Maybe this is all swerve. Well,
it is QT.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure QT and Hook, I'm pretty sure QT's Hook's next opponent.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what happened.
Okay.
Because QT said, like, I don't know, let's see.
QT... Yeah, I thought he said he was going to send someone for Hook. But ultimately, it's going to be QT versus Hook. Regardless, we know that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what they're doing here.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm fine no matter what happens with that. If he wants to go in there and kill QT Marshall, that's fine. I don't know who else they have. The only other thing that I could see is maybe when Cody comes back, maybe we get Hook versus Cody, and Cody probably has to win that. Or we get, I don't know, man. I would love to see Hook versus Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what they want to do yet. I think they're kind of feeding him people that aren't quite at that level yet. But I don't know who the next person would be. Hook already beat Seidel, right? I can't remember.
No. He
would be
defeated Fuego, one of the Bear Country guys.
Yep.
He defeated Aaron Solo and then Serpentico. I think that's been it, right? 4-0?
Yeah. So I think I would love to see Matt Sydal go in there, do some incredible stuff, and then Hook catch him coming out of a standing moonsault or something. Right into a Taz mission. Yes. I would love to see that, or a Red Rum. I would love to see that. So, I don't know. I don't know who the next person is, but I think Matt Sydal would be a really good one to go into, or even Jay Lethal. I think that would be good, but Jay Lethal's lost too much lately. Mm-hmm. I want to see him get more wins that aren't on Dark. Mm-hmm. And then trying to think of who else it could be. Is Ryan Nemeth still there?
He is.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, he's on BTE all the time.
Could be a good one. I'm trying to think of who else.
Yeah, the wingmen are no longer, unfortunately. I was just considering, I think, Cesar Bononi.
Yeah.
He was not re-signed. I don't know about JD Drake. But Nemeth would be a great opponent.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
Okay.
Man, they really peaked with Serpentico. I don't know how. I feel like that was so good. All of the build on social media, and then the streamers, and then just being killed.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Man, well, I clearly broke the rules here because I asked you too, but I think we're gonna end up loving whatever Hook does this week. As always,
I agree, and it's really funny because my last question for you is: who do you think Hook's first loss is in AEW?
Wow. The synergy, organic. Man, Hook's first loss. Look at us just fantasy booking every episode of GI. So I'm gonna presume, in my mind, this would be him losing the FTW title. Who would he lose to? Man, this is really hard, Brad. I'm not gonna say Taz, his pops, although that would be something. I'm going to go with you. Let's say Hook's first loss is to Cody. If Cody is continuing to build heat for himself, what better way than beating Hook? Hook then definitely becomes a babyface. Cody definitely establishes himself as a heel if he hasn't already. Cody, the American Nightmare, is my answer. Forever a babyface in my heart. But to the general populace, I know he's becoming more and more of a heel. That's what I initially thought, and I think I just talked myself out of it. Oh, really?
With Cody? Yeah. Do you remember the Sting debut?
Yes, of course.
Okay, what match got interrupted?
Was that...
Team Taz, Cody, Darby, Arn. Cody was in the ring.
Yes, Dustin as well, right?
They've already done the Team Taz Nightmare Family thing. So I don't know that we get... I don't know that they do that again. I think it would be a good new wrinkle, but man, I don't know. I don't know if it could be Cody now. I don't know if it can be. I feel like Hook's first loss. Man, Hook's first loss might end up being somebody like MJF, who's sick of the shine this kid's getting, or something like that. But they're probably going to give it to somebody else. Like maybe after this thing, Lance Archer decides he wants to fight Hook, or. I think that would be great because he's way bigger than Hook. Yeah. So I think that could be fun. What do you think about maybe we get some debuts? So looking at the list of November 4th WWE release talent, I saw Lince Dorado tweet recently that he's available to go. And we also have Oni Lorcan. We have Grand Metalik. We've already talked about a bunch of the other guys. I can't see really any of them. I can't really see any of them in AEW that I just mentioned, that there are already talent that are like that. I feel like it's a lot more of the same, and maybe that changes. Maybe I'm totally wrong about that. I did see that Laredo Kid just signed with Impact, so that was shocking to me, and it's a great get if that's true. That dude is incredible.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you know what? I think I know who it is. Well, I can't say loss. I think I know who the next person should be that wrestles him. Maybe the first loss is somebody else from this group, but it's Wheeler Yuta. I think Wheeler Yuta has to be the next person that he fights, and maybe we end up with an Orange Cassidy match, or maybe we end up with a Dude, Trent Beretta would be awesome with
That'd be
Hook.
great.
I think that match would be great. I think Chuck would go in there and Hook would eat him. Even though Chuck is incredibly athletic, Hook kills Chuck. Like he just does. I think Hook kills Orange Cassidy too, but I think Orange still gets some stupid stuff in his little kicks and all that. Maybe Danhausen tries to curse him.
Yeah.
I would love that. I think that would rule because you have super serious, I'm out here to hurt you Hook. Danhausen cursing him and Orange Cassidy just not taking anything seriously. I think it would be great. Maybe Adam Cole is the first loss for Hook. Angry Adam Cole. Hook is undefeated.
Right.
He has to be in the contender spot. Maybe Adam Cole's like, nah, get out of here, kid.
Yeah, no, all of this would be great, man. Yeah, the future is just so bright, and you can take his character so many different directions. I love all of what you said. I don't know if all of that's going to come true, but if you select any one or two of those options for future programs with Hook, I am all in. It's going to be money. Sign me up.
All in. Great pun.
Yes.
Good man.
Yes, AEW-based podcast. You know how we do. Speaking of things we do, Brad, I think it's time for a final weekly segment. You want to cue this one up?
Tyler, I'm feeling grateful this week. Let's go.
And now it's time for a little self-reflection. So, think about yourselves. Or something.
Man, there's so much to be grateful for. I am in a good place, health-wise. Finally, I've only coughed once into the mic. I've had a couple of phlegm bubbles. Disgusting. Apologies to the viewers and listeners. Embrace the mess, though. Embrace it.
That's right.
I'm not going to edit it out. You just get to enjoy it. I am hopeful for the future. I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of ideas. Will all of them come to fruition? Who knows? For all I know right now, the dog is taking a huge dump in the kitchen as she did not want to be in her kennel while we were recording. So God only knows what's happening out there right now. But I'm really grateful that I have the pup. I love having a dog in the house, even though having a puppy is a lot of work. I just love it. I love it so much. I'm looking forward to the day that she can just come in here and hang out with me while I'm doing the podcast. That day will probably be 2 years from now, but I'm looking forward to that day. Should be a good time. How about you? What are you grateful for this week?
Oh yeah, man. I got two things. So, first thing I'm grateful for, this may sound silly, but the amount of really great TV that's available right now outside of just professional wrestling. Believe it or not, Brad and I do watch some other programs, and not even just sports related. Man, I can think of two that I just want to give a shout out. Of course, The Bachelor is on every Monday, by the way. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm hoping one day that will be a weekly segment. Just give me 5 minutes to recap, Brad. They have everything, man. Heel turns, factions. We'll see. One day, hopefully. But two shows that I think are really interesting right now that have me hooked are Euphoria. It seems like everyone and their mother is watching that, and I'm right there with them. And then also, Pam and Tommy is on Hulu.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Have you heard of this?
I have. I have not seen it, but I have, and
Okay.
I've seen clips, and it's just mind-boggling how accurate it looks.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-blowing.
It's a trip. And yeah, man, I just lately I've been dedicating some time toward actually using these streaming services that I'm billed for monthly that I don't seem to use that much. I don't know if that resonates with anyone out there.
Oh, yeah.
But there's some good content. I think Brad, I'm a sucker for murder mysteries. So just being able to turn on Dateline basically any day of the week, it's on a channel. That just makes me really happy and really grateful. I love the amount of art that's being created right now. Secondly, grateful. I am so grateful that wrestling makes you as happy as it makes me, Brad. I really want to close this pod with hearing your thoughts on the debut of Danhausen in AEW. I know we alluded to this at 1 or 2 points in the pod, but I feel like I need to pass it over to you and closing, because seeing your guy debut on TBS, I was so stoked for you, man. You turned me on to Danhausen slowly but surely. I'm becoming a fan. I didn't really get it at first, admittedly, but you've stuck with him and you've turned me again into a fan. So I'm just grateful that I got to see your guy get signed and debut in such a fun way. So I want to pass it to you, man. I don't think we've officially heard your thoughts on Danhausen being signed with AEW.
I'm so glad I get the chance to talk about this. I love Danhausen. I love everything that dude does. It's all so ridiculous and perfect and fun. It's everything that professional wrestling should feel like. I don't want to say it should be, but it should feel like. It brings back, like, I don't know, feelings from when I was growing up, watching wrestling and just feeling good about what I was watching, having a good time, having fun. Here's this guy wearing face paint that looks like from The Man Who Laughs, a silent film from the 1920s, and is the basis for what the Joker ended up looking like. If you want to do a Google image search, look up Man Who Laughs Joker, and you'll probably find side-by-side comparisons of the original image and the Joker image that released in the 1940s comics. I love that he does this, and he's like a vampire and a cult leader, but he's not actually a vampire. He just thinks he is. And I love that, because it's not like The Undertaker, who is dead man and does dead man things. He comes back like a big zombie. It's all supernatural and it's all hocus pocus. No, not Danhausen. Danhausen is kind of a nut job. And I love that so much. I love that his tagline is very nice, very evil, because you have to be very nice in order to convince people to join your cult, and then you can be very evil together. He is out for sacks of monies. He is when Ring of Honor went under and his contract expired, he was doing a bit where he always confuses names. He used to ask Dave Honor at Ring of Honor, not a real person, but Dave Honor, where is my money? I need to buy a blimp. And he had his friend Davis always doing his filming for him. When The Rock's energy drink came out, Zoa energy drink, Danhausen did a flavor test and he used the original flavor, and he's like, I will absorb The Rock's powers by drinking this energy drink. And he drinks it, and then it cuts away and he's wearing a black turtleneck. And he's like, what is this? Where's my monies? Davis, I only have $7. Oh no.
Great Danhausen. I was hoping we would get
to original Rock. And I loved it so much that he just plays with all this stuff. No swearing. That's his rule. No swearing. And everything is just so absurd, bro. Everything is so stupid. His leaving Davis's backyard because he thought he was in prison. He's like, no, it's just my backyard. You can leave. I could have left this whole time. It's so great. Him doing all of this stuff is
that was prime
it's
Danhausen.
So much fun. And then to have him after the release applying to A&W restaurants because he screwed up AEW, and he keeps saying, like, I have to go work for A&W. Tony Elite, please sign an A&W contract for me. Like, just getting everything a little bit wrong. Not Tony Khan. No, Tony Elite. I love that he calls Chris Jericho Chris Judas. I love that he calls Colton and Austin Gunn the ass boys. I love that. I just love it all so much because it's silly and it's stupid. Are we going to see great in-ring work from Danhausen? Probably not. I don't know. I've actually never seen a wrestling match of his because I don't need to. I don't need to see this dude wrestle ever. I just want him around the ring. Right now, he's still recovering from a broken ankle with screws and plates, and it was gnarly break in two places. It was gnarly. The x-rays looked real bad. And I love that the person filming him in the hospital was Warhorse wearing a mask, filming him. Like, all of it is just so great.
It's so absurd.
Hopefully it means we get another Warhorse appearance because I love Warhorse. I love this so much. I love the business so much because of the surprises, because of the absurdity. No, we take this entertainment business seriously. I think we could say that we take it seriously because what it isn't serious. So we can talk about this not serious stuff outside of like life-changing events and something we haven't talked about yet that we should get to before the end of the pod, even though we're approaching our time. F it. This is for you, Mo. Kendrick, man. Sometimes it's not silly. Sometimes it's Tony Khan saying problematic things on Twitter. Sometimes it's finding out that a guy you grew up loving and saying he's apolitical donated tens of thousands of dollars to political campaigns, or that we're getting Dan Lambert on our screen at all. But at least I'll say this about it. At least he leaned into all of the reasons people don't like him as part of his character. I actually liked that and appreciated that about his first appearance. But then he showed up again and was like, get this guy off my screen. Why is he on this show so much?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, you're on fire, Brad. I was you probably saw I was hesitant to jump in there. There's so much to cover in only 90 minutes of a podcast.
We'll do 90 more then. Let's go.
Right, 3 hours.
Yes.
I think we would also be remiss. You're spot on about Brian Kendrick and how that just went south so quickly. And I just had no idea that video existed of Kendrick. I'm a total mark for the Brian Kendrick, and it's just it kind of reminds me of 19 Media's Never Meet Your Heroes. You know,
Right.
we all certainly make mistakes and may have skeletons in the closet, so to speak. But man, some of the skeletons are just really disappointing and really haunting. So yeah, that was super regretful on his part. What's also regretful, though, I think, are these continued Dan Lambert and Brandy Rhodes segments. I love Brandy Rhodes. She's spectacular.
Yeah. And Dan Lambert, in fairness, now I don't want to cut you off here, but Dan Lambert is phenomenal on the microphone. Like, the dude is phenomenal, and he clearly loves the business. So I did want to put that there.
Right. No, absolutely. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Trying to avoid wrestling cliches, but him, saying, "I know you all want to slap the S out of Brandy Rhodes," and I don't know, even the crowd chanting "Shut the F up" at Brandy. I was a little heated, man. I was like, does the Nightmare family need me to fly out to wherever they're gonna be and come and be a part of the group that helps Brandy? I mean, I know the eventual build here is Brandy versus Paige Van Zant, who reappeared on AEW this week, which makes sense, and I think will bring eyeballs to the product. But like you said, man, it's of course it's entertainment, and we love it and we laugh a lot. But there are these moments where you get real life in this, like you said, whether it's everything you said, representation. Like you said, the sort of blending of politics in the business and then politics just around the nation. This wrestling thing is just so multifaceted, and like I said, man, I'm just grateful that we have Gimmick Infringement to finally record our conversations about this, and most importantly, I'm just grateful that it really makes you happy as much as it makes me happy. Seeing your joy for Danhausen in this company just really reminded me how special this thing can be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blast. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's wrestlers getting signed, us being excited, and 6 hours later finding out that he's a scumbag. Like, it's just, you just really never know with this stuff.
And sometimes we get a WrestleMania being built where we are not excited for the two main events. The two nights may be stupendous, but I don't know, man. I guess we got to close here with the news of Ronda Rousey and Charlotte being the main event, presumably of night one, and then Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, presumably being the main event of night 2 of this year's WrestleMania. I know we have feelings about the Rumble. We've shared these feelings on air, but it's tough, Brad. I know I'm going to watch both nights of WrestleMania. I know I'm going to have high hopes for it, even though I shouldn't. I'm really down on these two matches, though, man. You have 4 talented competitors all in their own right, but these respective programs really do nothing for me.
Yeah, I was really excited. I was talking to Jess about the Rumble. She was like, I thought you liked the Rumble. when I was watching it, because I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Look who's here and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
the
then
conundrum.
it's just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, crappy finish, just all of it. Like everything looked like it was going to be. Okay, we gotta talk about this. Okay, first of all,
2 hour GI.
First
Light
of all,
work.
I've never seen Ronda wrestle. I've never seen her do it. I've never seen her on the mic. So
the pandemic,
I never watched any of that. So
Yeah.
I when she came out, I was stoked. I was like, oh, let's go. I was jumping up and down. I was pumped. I was fired up. So I was very confused when I went on social media and people were pissed. And then I saw her throw in her strikes. Woof. Bad. And then I saw her promo on Raw. Oh, good Lord.
Worse.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
That was not her strong suit.
That's not a person that should be allowed to have a mic ever. We saw Brock do wonderful promos on his own. It turns out he never really needed Paul Heyman to do his promo work for him.
Right.
Ronda needs Paul
thought?
Heyman. Ronda
Yes,
needed Roddy Piper, but Ronda, good God, don't let her talk again. Give it to somebody else. Let them manage. Call up anybody from NXT that's not doing anything right now, and have them be a manager. I don't care who it is, but don't let her talk, because it's the most forced, contrived bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Now, in fairness, Britt does all of her promos with a cadence that's just all attitude that I think sometimes sounds like she's got lines memorized that she's trying to pull out of her head, because she does things like this all the time. And it's just that cadence. It's that sassy cadence. But you can tell when somebody's faking it. And I don't feel ever like Britt is faking it. I don't ever feel like Britt is saying anything she doesn't mean. But Ronda has that same cadence. But it's not the line she's saying. It's her just trying to dig out of her memory what the hell she's supposed to say. And it just sounds bad. She also doesn't sound like she believes it. No, she's a badass. I hate this scripted shit. Like, just let them be talents that are good. I guarantee Ronda could go out there and cut a great promo. If you just said, go out there and cut a promo, tell us why you want to beat up Charlotte. Instead of here's 3 pages of bad dialogue. Once again, reaffirming my belief that Vince McMahon is just George Lucas, because the dialogue in the prequel trilogy was ass compared to the original trilogy. And that's what we're getting now from modern Vince McMahon. Just trash dialogue for almost everybody, except for like 4 or 5 talent in the company that are like getting what they want. Everybody else is just getting fed this garbage, which is why people are asking for the release. Cause like, ooh, gross. So we jump ahead into the Royal Rumble and we get Shane O'Mac throwing the same bad strikes, the same crappy strikes as Ronda Rousey. And I know that Shane McMahon is like a shoot fighter. He boxes and he trains and he does that. He
Raw Underground. Does anyone remember Raw Underground? I know we are not to speak of it anymore. It's just so funny how, and again, this isn't just to WWE, but it's what we're choosing to highlight. These things happen. These ideas happen. They're a huge deal. They're heavily promoted. Remember how big Raw Underground was being promoted? This underground shoot fighting, Shane McMahon led initiative. Yeah, and not only does it stop, Brad, but then we never hear of it ever again. When Commander Aziz comes out,
what was his name in Raw Underground?
At WrestleMania, no one says, "Hey, that's Dabba-Kato."
There you go. That's it.
From Raw.
I do.
Shane,
Commander Aziz sucks. Dabba-Kato was so much. Commander Aziz, come on.
It's terrible. Shane McMahon, you are right, does love MMA. What in the heck happened though, man? He made this Royal Rumble appearance. I believe he eliminated Kevin Owens, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then we learned this past week that reportedly he has been, again, shout out to Fightful. I think there were other entities that ended up reporting it too. Shane McMahon apparently has been, he's no longer with WWE. Reportedly he was going to be worked into plans for, I believe, the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. And then ultimately he was going to be on the WrestleMania card. But that is no longer. How could this not affect locker room morale when Shane appears and is given a prominent spot over so many other people, Brad?
Yeah, and eliminating people that you know should be in the title picture.
Yes.
Like Kevin Owens should not have been eliminated by
KO was my pick to win it all.
I know there are people. I know there are people that believe that just being in the match and having good moments in the match is enough, but the eliminations matter. You cannot eliminate somebody if that person isn't in the works for something bigger than that. I know that's why they tried to build people like Ridge Holland and Madcap Moss. I can't even say it because I want to say Madcap because he sucks. That character sucks. There's so many. Those guys are great workers.
Oh, for sure.
Rick Boogs, beast of a man.
For
Gimmick sucks. That gimmick sucks. Give him something else. Like, he's obviously incredibly strong. Have him go out there and just beat people up. He doesn't have to be like the guitar player guy. That was better than what they had him do in the Rumble with the unitard and then just pressing people over his head without throwing him out of the ring. That's not impressive. It makes you look like a doofus. A really, really strong doofus. Like, yeet the guy over the rope. Stop pressing him over your head. You did that with two people. Just throw him. What are you doing? Make it make sense. That's all we ask. I know we got to get Shane McMahon at WrestleMania so we can jump off something tall and kick a garbage can on the other side of the ring or go through a plate glass window that's actually sugar glass, we hope, and not sprayed with pyrotechnic stuff so that it doesn't break and he's got to use his head 15 times like he did with Kurt Angle. I know we're going to get some kind of thing with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Now we're not. Who cares? The last time Shane McMahon was in WrestleMania, Braun Strowman got released. It doesn't make any sense. So
and he beat Braun Strowman, right?
In
that cage
Braun
match.
Strowman in a cage match. The thing that boggled my mind was that they let Shane produce a lot of the Royal Rumble. And what does Shane do? Put himself over by saying, I'm coming in second to last. I'm coming in 29th. The order matters. The closer to the end we get, the bigger the star it usually is. We classically get returns or surprises at 30. It's just sort of the way it goes. And we got Brock this year, which was, as soon as he lost, the most obvious thing in the world that was going to happen. Instead, we get Shane McMahon throwing Kevin Owens, who is on fire right now, out of the ring, over the top rope. We get Randy gets eliminated, Riddle gets eliminated, all these guys get eliminated. I love that Randy was supposed to come out 29th or 28th to Shane, and then Vince flip-flopped those two. And that Randy's response was, well, I'm not going out there to Here Comes the Money. So either go or nothing's going to happen. I love that so much. That made me so happy. But the last minute changes meant a bunch of the people that were supposed to be eliminated and stuff didn't happen. I don't know what happened with Kofi, who Kofi was responsible for eliminating, if anybody.
That really knocked the wind out of me. Like,
yeah,
that was just so indicative of how bad this Rumble was.
Yes,
that we didn't even get a Kofi spot.
No,
because it got messed up.
And they
right? Like,
just...
this is live. This is live entertainment. Stuff happens. That, man, yeah. I don't think it's an exaggeration. I don't think it's being a prisoner of the moment. Now that a week plus has passed, to say this was one of the worst men's Royal Rumbles of my generation, at the very least, of all the ones I've seen, Brad. This one was terrible. Bottom 5, and I don't think it's at number 5.
There's some pretty bad ones early on, but it's hard to judge because of the star power. I think both of us are probably fans. I know I am, of Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Of course.
But to have him probably be the biggest, if not one of the biggest stars in the first Royal Rumble, I don't know, man. That there was a lot of white meat in that first Royal Rumble, and not a lot of it was pretty. It was a lot of people that weren't in shape. They were shapes, and it's just changed so much since then. And I'm not saying that's everything, but it's something. That's why I think like Madcap Moss has an incredible look. That guy is just abs on abs, ripped, but his gimmick is stupid. They have him doing stupid stuff. Like, that dude could be something special if they gave him something better. Same with Baron Corbin. How have you not figured this guy out? He's a Gold Glove winner. He used to have Marvelous Mark Miro. Lean into that. Just have him box people, punch him in the face. I don't know why this is hard.
Great callback. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so down on the product, man. I want to know what's going to happen, and I want to watch WrestleMania. I know I want to do that. I probably will because of the surprises we're going to get.
You will.
I know.
I will too.
Because you know,
we're going to be stoked for it.
We're going to get a Taker return, and it's going to rule until we're reminded that it's Mark Calloway. We're going to get like all of these moments are going to be great. Maybe we get The Rock. Maybe we get something. I don't know. Maybe they do a Cena feud with The Rock and just build it for an entire year. I have no idea.
Maybe Bianca gets the rematch with Becky.
I doubt it.
And
They'll probably
Bianca
just
goes
bury.
over.
They'll probably have
getting my
her-
expectations high. Yeah,
Absolutely. They're going to put her in a title match. She's going to lose, and then they'll release her 2 weeks later after having nothing for her. Like that's the level of trust I have in this company right now. Where's Alexa Bliss? I know she came back, but like
she's in therapy.
God
on TV.
almighty, it's bad.
Yeah,
it's just so
I predicted
bad.
her being in the Rumble. I just thought that seemed like a layup. That this is where you debut or re-debut people, and
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean, yes, it's shocking that you think one of the top stars in the company would be in the freaking Royal Rumble. It's shocking. You know, like, I don't know, Finn Balor, for example.
Jeez, man.
Cesaro.
Don't even get me started. We will really go 3 hours if we talk about the misuse of Finn Balor. I mean, that could truly just be a special episode of Gimmick Infringement. I've still not been given any explanation as to why the turnbuckle combusted on Demon Finn at Extreme Rules. I'm not saying I thought the Demon was going to win the match, but you beat the Demon, which means something, via
Divine intervention?
A turnbuckle combusting.
Maybe it's because he's a demon and God got involved.
Yes.
How do you
exactly?
What do you do with that after that? Was it Miro prayed? Are we having a crossover event? What happened here? I don't understand.
Man, that dude is so good. Yeah, Brett, I'm gonna cut my thoughts off there, man. I think you are on fire with this take. I think it's so accurate, and it's. I mean, I know maybe for listeners, some of this is comical. Shout out to our listeners, by the way, especially if they're still with us. You know, we always have to give them the most praise as we truly near the end of the episode. I don't think we've officially given a shout out to Mike Steff on here, but thank you, Mike Steff. What a great dude. What an awesome content creator. And he shows so much love on Twitter. Brad, my point though, and to all of our listeners, right? Probably too many for us to mention name by name, but we so appreciate you. Brad, your take is so spot on. It kind of feels really like a tale of two worlds, man, every single week. Although things with AEW aren't always perfect, we just get so excited for the weekly product. And WWE, it just seems pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. It's just more frustration. First it was Extreme Rules, then it was the Egg at Survivor Series. I think Extreme Rules was before that. I could be wrong. It was the Egg, and then it was the Royal Rumble, and I don't know what else to say about WWE's current product, man. I think this year is just going to be fascinating to see what they do, whether it's a sale or whether it's like who is on your definitive roster. I think WWE is at a real crossroads, at least with me as a fan. I will still subscribe to Peacock because I get Dateline commercial free, but I think I'm still going to follow this product, even if I will not watch the Saudi Arabia shows. Everything else, I think I'm still going to watch, man. They still got me. I know I'm going to watch WrestleMania.
I'm going to watch pay-per-views. I'm not going to watch anything else other than what happens on Twitter. I'm probably going to get blocked at some point because I keep retweeting them and saying something about their garbage product. It's just, what do you think of when you see this? And I think of bad booking is what I think of. I think your product is condescending and trash. How about step up your game? Just sell it. Just sell it at this point. Sell it to Walmart. Like, I don't care where you sell it to. Like, sell the WWE and get it over with so we can move on with our lives, because it's not good right now. And that's unfortunate because the talent is incredible. The booking is not. Like, I don't know Vince McMahon. I don't know what he's like. I don't know what he's like personally. I know some of the talent there absolutely love him. Bryan Danielson put him over. Sasha Banks loves him, frequently giving him credit on Twitter. So he's got to be doing something right. He also has to be doing something right to have a company this big last for this long. So I'm going to go ahead and say that he's probably a great person to work for, even though it looks like optically that it's not. But when you're running a company this large with this many moving pieces, it's probably not the people around you that are holding up their end of the agreement. The other problem is, like, when a company is this big, you got to release some of the creative control to other people and trust them with it. And right now, it's the writer's room is the creative control, and it's not working for me, man. I wanted to say this week, shout out our podcast this week is sponsored by Just Kicking It with Justin Huntsman. Check him out on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Great podcast. NBA talk, hoops talk in general, and then culture talk, and great interviews on there as well. We love that podcast around here. And then check out the other 19 Media Group content available on YouTube and on the website and on wherever you're getting your podcasts.
Yeah, well said, my friend. Everyone, please be safe out there. Be well, and thank you so much for listening. We will see you on the next one. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Happy Black History Month, everyone.